Hi there, my name is Allison with Mountain Valley Consulting. Thanks for checking out this video on how our rent-to-own program works. Step 1 is you want to make sure that you're registering to receive our new property updates. Whenever we get a new property, we're sending a property blast out to the buyers that are registered on our list first, before we're even advertising to the public. So very often, our homes are sold to buyers on our list before the public even knows about it. Step 2 is once you start receiving the property blast, you want to make sure that you're inquiring right away, because all of our properties, they don't last very long and they do go very quickly. So make sure you're inquiring right away. Once you inquire, I'm going to reach out to you and arrange for you to go see the property. Whether the property is vacant, and in that case, most likely we'll have it set up on a lockbox and we'll arrange the viewing. Before giving you the viewing instructions and the viewing information, I'm going to take down the best email for you. That way I can send you a couple of forms. That means that once you go to the property and take a look, and if it's something that you're interested in taking the next step on, you can fill out the next step forms. That's why we like to call it the next step forms. So you're going to fill those forms out and get those back to me. Now, in contrast, if the property is occupied either with our partner on the deal or the former seller, then what I'm going to do is arrange a walkthrough of the property for you to go there with them. They'll walk you through the property, go over any property specific things that are there, and then if you have any questions on the numbers, you can circle back to me at that time. Just because at this point, they don't control the numbers and how that all works with regards to our rent-to-own program. In either of those cases, whether the home is occupied or vacant, if you're interested in the home and want to take the next step in the process, you're going to want to fill out those next step forms. Once I get those, I'm going to give you a call. We're going to review them together and get a comfort level. The first thing that we're going to do is go over your income, because we want to make sure that we have the end in mind, right? From the beginning. The end in mind being, we want to make sure that we're setting you up to be successful. Meaning that when you do go to the end or come to the end of your lease, you're going to be able to qualify for your own loan. Pretty exciting, right? So for that, we're typically looking to make sure that your income, monthly income exceeds 3 times the monthly cost of the property. That means that your debt to income ratio, or your DTI, will be 33% or better. That's really setting you up for success, right, from the beginning. Next, once we get a comfort level with your income, we go over that and how you're earning your money and how that all works. We're then going to go over down payment. Now, how down payment works is usually anywhere from 3 to 10%. You might be thinking, that's quite a range, 3 to 10%. How do I know for a particular property what you're going to charge? Well, it's not necessarily what we're going to charge. It's that you're competing with other buyers. So you need to put your best foot forward and do the best you can with regards to your down payment. Very often, we're selecting buyers weighted heavily on your down payment. So the higher you can get your down payment, the better your chances are of being approved. If you're coming in on a particular property closer to the 3%, we'd like to work with you. This is something we'll do together on the phone when I'm calling you to review the forms together. We'll come up with a plan together based on your income and your payment schedule and everything like that, and come up with a plan for additional down payment over the course of your lease. So that by the time you do come to the end of your rent-to-own agreement with us, you're going to be able to get your own loan. We want to make sure that you're going to be a slam dunk for the lender, when it gets to that point, meaning that you're going to not only have access to the best rates that are available at that time, but also the best programs. So you're not stuck with, I can only do this super low down payment with a super high interest rate. Again, we want to make sure you have access to the best programs at that time. Once both of us get a comfort level with your income, how you're making your money and your down payment, then what we're going to do is set up what's called a buyer's meeting. A buyer's meeting doesn't necessarily mean that you've been accepted. However, it is the next step in our process for a given property. We could have multiple buyer meetings with different buyers. It doesn't necessarily mean that we've accepted a buyer. It just means we're considering you further in the process. At the buyer's meeting, all we're doing is sitting down together and going over things in more detail. If we're going to be working together over the next 18, 24, 30, or 36 months, We want to make sure that we have a comfort level and understanding with going over things, and that we're going to be able to work together. Because this is a pretty serious purchase. You're buying a house. We want to make sure that we get along, right? So this isn't something that can be done over email or text without talking to someone. Once we do that, say you get selected, you're chosen, and you're accepted for a particular property. Someone from our team will be reaching out to you and coordinating your attorney signing. We'd like to call it a closing with the attorney, and that's where you're coming up with the rest of your down payment and signing final agreements. We have it done in front of an attorney to make sure everyone's protected and everyone's on the same page, both you as the buyer and us. Is that legally and absolutely necessary? No. We could just do it at our office. However, we want to make sure everyone's protected. So that's an overview of how our rent-to-own home program works. I hope that helps clarify a few things and a few questions. And if this is something that you're looking for, make sure that you're inquiring back so we can set up your property viewing and move you along in the process. I hope that helps, and if you want to reach out to me directly for more information, just send me an email at Allison, ALLISON, @mountainvalleyconsulting.net.